What a difference 4 years can make. No, I'm not referring to the zombie apocalyptic nightmare of the Obama years, but the magical growth in wisdom we all experience between the ages of 13 and 17. Hi everyone, I'm Stephen Cruiser, filling in for the otherworldly dapper Steve Green, and joined now by my handsome bookmarks, Scott Ott and Bill Whittle. Gentlemen, you probably remember that moment in 2009 when 13-year-old Jonathan Krohn rocked the Conservative Political Action Conference with a speech that finally delivered something the aging CPAC crowd had been dreaming of since the 1980s, a real-life incarnation of Alex P. Keaton from Family Ties.
I want you to understand, I want the American people to understand, that conservatism is not an ideology of feelings or romanticism, as some people like to say. It is an ideology of protecting the people and the people's rights.
Krohn was a pubescent juggernaut who preached the virtues of conservative ideals while railing against the evils of liberalism in front of any camera that was on him at the time. Conservative media types, okay, Fox News, fell in love with the kid while the rest of the MSM reacted as if each cracking of young Krohn's voice was surely the result of the growing pains associated with his soon-to-be sprouting devil horns. Little Jonathan, the conservative whiz kid, is now a grizzled old man of 17 and in the throes of an ideological upheaval. It seems that after getting into philosophy, he came to the conclusion that, you might want to grab your seats for this one, dear viewers, he was naive at 13. Becoming a German philosopher groupie might not help Krohn get a prom date, but it did make him realize that what he was saying back when he was, a dumb kid, was nothing but ideological blather. Krohn says he grew weary of being an ideology and is getting away from politics now. Where did he say this, you might ask? In an article on Politico. First question to you, Mr. Ott. Why wasn't anyone in the conservative hierarchy aware that a 13-year-old boy might be naive and a somewhat risky showpiece for us down the road?
Well, I think we are so desperate to be liked by the young, those of us geezer conservative Republicans, that we'll take anything we can get. I mean, this kind of reminds me of sort of, church youth ministers who put their ball cap on sideways and sag their pants a little bit and try to be hip, but they're actually like 57 years old and they got a gut hanging over their belt. I mean, that's kind of the attitude the Republicans have toward youth. And we're just afraid to be ourselves. We're afraid to be honest about who we are, and we think we have to ingratiate ourselves. So when somebody like Jonathan comes along, and by the way, I met Jonathan at that event, he seemed like a nice young man.
So glad I scrapped my sideways ball cap look that I was going with first today on my way in here. Bill Whittle, we often criticize entertainment industry stage parents who live vicariously through their children, pimping them out for publicity. Shouldn't those conservatives who are irritated with Krohn today be focusing a little of that anger on his parents?
I've always felt that really indoctrinating kids with politics on either side was kind of a mean thing to do, Steve. I can tell you in all honesty, I did not know whether my dad was a Republican or a Democrat till I was probably 17 or 18, and only then I deduced it. The picture of him with Reagan and Nixon might have been a clue, but frankly, we just didn't care. We had other things to do. We're out playing baseball, and we're out riding bikes, and we're talking about girls, and we're, trying to scrape up the courage to call, what's her name, and, see if she wants to go get a soda. I suspect that calling up what's her name to get a soda might have had something to do with this giant illumination on the part of Mr. Krohn. He's got to try and get a date now, and it's kind of tough to do that if you're a conservative. But you know what? Actually, I get the feeling that I actually feel kind of sorry for the kid. He's obviously a very bright kid, but as far as him coming to realize that a conservative viewpoint was just sort of misguided, I'd be willing to debate the kid one-on-one in front of an arena full of screaming fans paying $100 each.
I don't indoctrinate in a cage.
In a steel
I don't
cage.
indoctrinate my child at all in politics. I do indoctrinate her in sports loyalties. I did that early on.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. Scott, we can't really call a 13-year-old a useful idiot. Is he now one at 17, or should we be a bit less dismissive and give him credit for being a shameless attention junkie who learned at an early age to play all sides?
Well, that's my theory right now, actually. Yeah, I think he's a very bright young man, and what he's going to do now is he's going to play his conversion story to, and he's saying he's not a liberal, but he's kind of drifting away to the Republicans, but that's close enough for liberals. They just want you away from the Republicans. And he's going to play that conversion story. There'll be a book called Undefining Conservatism, and then he'll go on tour and he'll be on MSNBC with Rachel. I think he's a genius. And actually, if I could say anything to my Republican friends, if you want to reach young people, just be yourself and talk to them the way you actually think, not the way you think that they think that you should think.
Great point.
I'm down with that.
He says he's not going to write another book, and as we all know, that the decisions you make at age 17 are final and the way you will move forward in life. Thank you, Scott Ott, for being here. Last question to you, Bill, and we've discussed this before. It is important to reach out to a younger constituency. What are some better ways that conservatives might do this?
Well, I plan to do my afterburners in a hoodie from now on, Steve, because I'm going to be laying down those fat beats that those kids just really, you know, dig so much. Put a little rap track behind me there, and I might bust a few moves, you know, when I get to the important parts. Now, Scotty said it time and time again. I agree. You just got to be yourself. You got to. These are perfectly defensible, perfectly understandable ideas. They are ideas that actually I think should appeal to young people only because, you know, the whole point of being a teenager is to rebel, right? And when all of your teachers are Marxists and all of your, you know, schooling is surrounded by Marxists and all of everybody else, they're all into this whole Obama thing. I think one of the reasons Obama's numbers with young people is down so much is because it's just done, man. You know, you can't be on top of that heap. And as far as Mr. Krohn goes, I agree with Scotty on this too. I think this is a kid who's very bright, looking for attention all the time. I think he found a lot of attention when he did the CPAC speech, and then the attention went away because, frankly, he didn't have a lot of really deep stuff to say. He just looked like a real boy while he was saying it. Now he's probably looking for another burst of attention, and he's gotten it. And I'm sure no doubt in another 10 years he'll have his return to conservative moment where he talks about being seduced by the dark side and finally coming back to the deep homespun truths of his faraway youth.
Thank you, Bill Whittle, who, as we speak, is being whisked away to a recording studio to record some of those fat beats, as he says. Look, I don't know Jonathan Krohn, but I've been a stand-up comic my entire adult life, and I do know attention whores, because I am one. Jonathan Krohn is being accused of being one by many on the right today who feel betrayed. I, however, would like to give the kid the benefit of the doubt. Why? Because, as I just said, he's a kid. The camera and the spotlight are powerful drugs for adults who know better and are beyond irresistible to those who don't have the life experience to understand long-term consequences. Let's face it, 17-year-old boys are barely evolved chimps who have learned to bathe and dress themselves. There's a reason they like to punch each other a lot. Even they know they're annoying. The people who dangled minor celebrity in front of an adolescent boy are far more to blame for any disgruntlement people who embrace the young man may be feeling now. As for Krohn's political future, who knows? There are perhaps 10 of us in the conservative movement who have never had a liberal phase. My fondest hope for Jonathan Krohn is that he will learn the difference between what he wants and what other people want for him in time to have a happy, productive life. Many thanks to Bill Whittle, Scott Ott, and the Trifecta viewers for letting me fill in today. I'm Stephen Cruiser, and I'll see you all Friday for Cruiser Control.